How's it going, everybody? Ragiroth here. So, at the time of this recording, Mortal Kombat 11 has been out almost 2 weeks, I'd say. We obviously know the whole base roster, something we've been wondering about for months now, since the game was rumored and all that. And we finally know it's here. We've all pretty much been able to play the game. The roster has been something, I guess, that I've talked about a lot. Other people have talked about a lot, because, after Mortal Kombat X, it wasn't, obviously, it's a very subjective thing, but Mortal Kombat X generally wasn't considered the best of the rosters by most people. And, there was a lot of characters, we were hoping to see back. They were either missing from 9 or haven't been in the game in a long time. And I guess we were kind of, putting some of our faith in Mortal Kombat 11 to kind of deliver on that. So I kind of want to do this video to kind of just talk about what I think about kind of the roster as a whole. I'm kind of breaking it into different parts. Like, I'm going to be talking about kind of returning classic characters that were in Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X, like Scorpion, Raiden, and Johnny Cage, for instance. Then characters that were introduced in Mortal Kombat X that made it back for this game, like Erron Black or Cassie Cage. Then characters that were returning characters, but missed out on X, or maybe later than that, Noob Saibot or Scarlet. Then I'll be talking about brand new characters. There's only 3 of them: Collector, Cetrion, and Geras. Then I will be talking about the 3D era characters and I guess the secret character, because there's only one of each. You can probably tell where one of my complaints is going to be going with the tone of my voice for that. But keep in mind, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is how everyone is going to think. I'm not telling you to think of it like that. Think of the roster like this. This is just what I think. Because I feel like there's been more build up for this game, kind of saying what characters would have kind of made it in. And I know there's DLC, and I'm going to briefly talk about that, but because we don't really know it officially, we don't know, if the 9 that are found in the files are the only ones we're getting. I'm only going to briefly talk about that. But, anyway, let's get started. Alright, so first up is, of course, the kind of returning characters that have been, pretty much the most recent games, like Mortal Kombat 9, X, and I think even in some cases, MK vs. DC. So this is probably the most maybe frustrating part of the roster. Obviously, I'm not complaining, that, oh, why is Scorpion in it? Why is Sub-Zero in it? No. Some of these guys I know have to be in every game. Scorpion, Sub-Zero, I'd say Raiden. I feel like Johnny Cage has kind of earned the spot. I feel like Liu Kang has kind of earned the spot. I feel like Katana has. These guys are fine. I'm kind of just sort of frustrated that we had to have, Sonya again, Jax again, and even though I kind of do like him, I'd say Kano, just because I don't really think he's that popular or well-received, and it is kind of frustrating. There's a lot more interesting new characters that come around, or interesting characters that are around, and, he kind of always just kind of squeezes in there. Now, part of the thing with Sonya and Jax is that it's kind of frustrating that they kind of have to bring their kids along with them. I'm obviously going to get into that. MKX characters. And I know, yeah, Johnny, one of the kids is Johnny Cage's kid as well, but, Cassie and Sonya look so similar, and I think Cassie has just become a lot more cooler and interesting than Sonya. It's kind of frustrating. We always gotta have both now. And I was pretty bummed that they actually brought Sonya back, and to a lesser extent Jax as well. I don't, like I said, I don't think I mind them as much when they kind of have these kids that are similar to them in some ways, more so Sonya than Jax. I'm not saying these characters need to be gone for good. I just think they kind of need to sit out a game. Same with, I think, Kano. Johnny Cage, while I think I probably like Kano a bit more than Johnny, I feel like Johnny has just become a lot more iconic and more popular now, and I think he brings a lot of personality to the game. And I think a lot of these characters, the issue is a lot of them are just kind of represent normal, I don't want to say normal, but more normal humans, militaristic humans, and it's kind of a shame that this kind of theme has to take over Mortal Kombat a lot. Scorpion, Sub-Zero, totally fine with, and they're great in this game. Raiden, I know, as much as, when I first started my channel, I bitched about him being in Injustice 2, I actually really like him in this game. I actually use him somewhat frequently. Like I said, Johnny's fine. Oh yeah, Kung Lao. I don't dislike him. I do feel like he could maybe afford to sit out a game. But Liu Kang, Katana, Kung Lao, they're okay. Especially Liu and Katana. But I'll say this, and I'm going to be saying this a lot with this. I think every character in this game that was in a previous game has at least improved in some way from at least Mortal Kombat X. As frustrating as kind of NetherRealm's attitude towards kind of letting some of these characters go is, whatever. At least they kind of build and improve them each time.
at least in my opinion. I mean, some people might not agree. Maybe some people liked, I don't know, MKX Kano more than MK11 Kano. And there's probably some things that are better than an MKX that I miss, but overall, I think they're an improvement. I think that's all I can really say here. It is definitely probably, the most frustrating part of the roster, but it's not terrible, and I understand it to a degree. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the Mortal Kombat X kind of newcomers that returned for this game. Overall, I'm okay with this. I'm very happy Aaron Black came back. I was a little worried about him. He was my probably favorite newcomer in MKX if we're not counting Tremor. Cassie Cage, while I wasn't like in love with her, I was okay with her, and I totally expected and understood her coming back. It's more so just her, and it's more so just having her and Sonya in the same game that's kind of frustrating. But like that's why I think Cassie should have just been in, and Sonya could have just had this one out. Kotal Khan I'm fine with. I liked him in X. I didn't love him, but I liked him, and he was someone else that I feel like I'm like, oh, he's probably gonna stick around. And I think, again, they've done nothing but improve him in this game. Devora, I remember when she was first announced, I was kind of like, really? Though I guess that was still early on, and when we just had seen Cabal that day, so I was probably more in the mood for like, all right, another character that missed out on X, and it was like, oh, Devora, and it didn't help that like her original render, which is the one in this picture, I did not like it at all. I liked her, she looked way better when they showed her later than now. And she wasn't someone I loved, but I was okay with her. She was all right. I kind of. With Aaron, I'm kind of like, maybe short term, maybe she won't. I do think, again, she has done nothing but improve in this game in terms of design and, her moveset and all that. Cassie, I do think I like her way better in this game than MKX. I think just her design, and the design and moveset and her intros, her voice, everything I like better about her in this. I can't really think of much that I like better her in MKX in this game. I mean, I do miss the fatality, with the selfie, but I feel like she still kind of captures some of that anyway. And it's like they're always going to make new fatalities and stuff, so it is what it is. Now the one problem with this is Jackie. I do think, now I'll say this, I think she is definitely improved. She is definitely way cooler and more interesting. But like, this was not the game to do this. Like, I just think there was way too much riding on returning characters that have missed out on games to kind of bring her back. And like, it's also more insulting that she's playable in the story, but like Aaron Black isn't, who is like, probably one of the most well-received MKX characters, when Jackie was at least more divisive. And then it's like, the other stupid thing is like, if you're gonna have two combat kids in the game, why not at the very least have Cassie and Takeda? I feel like they were the overall most well-received. You'd also have a guy and a girl. Not only that, but Kenshi's not in the game, so no one from Takeda's family is represented in this game whatsoever. So at least you'd have him. But instead, we got to bring the whole damn family along. Well, I guess Kong Jin didn't come back for Kung Lao, but I don't know. Her being in this game is definitely one of the most frustrating aspects of it. When there's so many characters that could have brought back and they chose her, again, they have improved her. I applaud them for that, but I think they should have maybe waited a game, until we got some more familiar faces back, or at least had kind of another showing of Takeda, and then kind of bring her back. So that definitely does hurt this section of it for me, but overall, I'm fine with it, and I think they've improved the characters basically tenfold. As a huge Aaron Black fan, there are some moves and stuff, and like maybe parts of his character that I miss from X. But overall, I think I like him more in this game, and I think he's got a lot more character and personality. Not that he didn't already. Now, this is probably the best and most exciting part of the roster for me. These are characters that are classic characters, or at least have been in at least one game before, that have kind of either missed out on X, or maybe even longer than that. I love basically all of them. I mean, Noob Saibot's my favorite Mortal Kombat character, period, so obviously I was happy he was in. I love Jade, and she is just overall better in this game. Happy about that. Scarlet, I was a huge fan of her in MK9. I was thrilled to see her back, and I basically love everything they've done with her. I think she's come... Yeah, I mean, I liked her in MK9, but she is like, wow. She is like totally improved in this game. Cabal is another character, because I typically like a lot of the ninjas. Cabal, I think, is one of the characters I really like that isn't a ninja, and so I'm glad he was back. And him and I think Scarlet are, I think, a little less safe characters to expect, so it was kind of cool, that they went with them. Then Shao Kahn is the pre-order bonus I was pretty happy about. He's probably one of my favorite main villains for the franchise, and I absolutely love playing as him in this game, and he hasn't been playable since Mortal Kombat vs. DC. Mortal Kombat vs. DC. He was one of the unlockable characters, And obviously he plays and looks so much better in this game than that game. He is probably my favorite of the three, I guess, pre-order bonus characters that NetherRealm has done between him, Goro, and Darkseid and Injustice 2. Then Baraka, he is probably my least favorite out of these. However, I'm not mad he's in the game. He wouldn't have been my first choice. I would have probably preferred Rain or Smoke or Fujin, or like maybe even like Sindel or Nightwolf. Or I guess one of the cyborgs like Sector. But I'm not mad he's in the game. I understand why he's in. Not to mention, I feel like he got dicked over hard in MKX. He was an NPC that just got killed. His moveset was basically, he was killed he was killed technically twice. He was killed in the DLC trailer by a Xenomorph, and I guess the Xenomorph took some of his, alien took some of his moves. So I feel like him and like his fans didn't need this. And I do think, like I've been saying, he is nothing but improved in this game from both character, story, and moveset and all that. He does have some pretty cool gear pieces and stuff. So again, not mad, not my first choice though. But yeah, this is probably the best part of the roster for me. The worst part about it is that there just wasn't that much. I think a lot of us kind of expected them to kind of, maybe bring a little bit more of these characters back, or these types of characters back. And they kind of, I don't know, it made it sound like there would be more, and there kind of wasn't. But overall, I'm glad at least, like Noob Saibot and like Scarlet and, Noob Saibot, Scarlet, Jade, Cabal, Shao Kahn, they like really helped make this roster for me. And Baraka, again, he's alright too. Then we got the brand new characters. Now, first of all, I'm happy that they kind of showed some restraint, and as opposed to putting in 8 new characters, they only introduced 3. And the other thing is, because, I think a lot of my earlier videos, I'm like, oh, I really hope there's not like more than 2 or 3 new characters. Maybe like 4 was the maximum. So, we only got 3, which I was pretty relieved about. And then the other thing is, I like all 3 of these new characters. I feel like they really went with like quality over quantity this time. I think Geras is cool. I like his abilities and his personality and his voice. And I guess, it's cool that he's like this immortal guy that, just gets killed and keeps coming back. I mean, his design isn't like anything to, write home about, but I was overall happy with him. Then Cetrion, I think, was pretty cool. It was neat that we finally have a playable Elder God. I was a little kind of worried she maybe stepped on Rain and Fujin's chances a little bit. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I know a lot of people kind of complain about her just being kind of this reused asset character. And I mean, I guess, yeah, but they reuse a ton of assets, and it is kind of neat just having this character uses all these elements. Her and Geras kind of gave me that Tremor fix, I guess, that I needed, since he was my favorite character in MKX. The only thing that just kind of sucked with her is, I guess I was a little unhappy with how she turned out in the story mode. I thought she'd have a bigger role and help the good guys, and that did not happen at all. But that doesn't, make me not like her. I think she's overall a pretty cool character still. Now for Collector. Collector is easily my favorite of these 3 new guys. I love this guy. He is just really cool. He's like quirky. He just feels like a Mortal Kombat character. He's kind of funny, and he's fun to play as well. Can also be annoying to fight against, but that's beside the point. Like, now, obviously, I would like all 3 of these guys to make it in a future game, but like if I had to pick one, like gun to my head, I would really like it to be Collector. And most people agree that he's kind of the one that is the less self-contained out of these 3, because Geras and Cetrion are so tied to Kronika, and I guess also what happened in the story mode, but that's beside the point. But no, I'm overall pretty happy with the new characters. This definitely helps make the roster as well. So now we got the 3D era character, and I guess the secret character, who is none other than Frost. Now, this is very bittersweet for me, because, well, first of all, okay, I love Frost. She's probably one of my favorite Mortal Kombat female characters, one of my favorite characters from, I guess, the original trilogy. And I think she's one of the first female characters I ever liked in a fighting game. Maybe like her and like Sheik in Super Smash Bros. Melee. So she kind of has a special place in my heart. She was one of the most wanted characters to come back, and I'm really happy they brought her back. And even though I was worried initially about them making her a cyborg, I thought she would just be kind of like a Cyber Sub-Zero function, and that's it. And while she kind of takes some of his concepts, she is totally different. And, I absolutely love her moveset. I love her design. I was also really worried she was going to be bald because of that, that leaked image. But I guess her hair was just literally not complete. So overall, I'm very happy with her. She's probably my favorite character in this game currently. I mean, like, I know Noob Saibot's my favorite Mortal Kombat character, but just for the sake of this game, I kind of like Frost more, because I kind of take Noob a little bit more for granted. I know his attendance isn't perfect, but, I can take him for granted a little more than Frost. Not to mention, I feel like just the hipster side of me, like, with how popular Noob Saibot is in this game, how much people want to use him, it kind of makes me want to use him just a little bit less, not like dislike him, just a little bit less. While Frost, while I think she might be kind of well received, isn't quite that popular. So now here's the annoying thing. Why? Why is there only one character from, the 3D era, post-original trilogy, whatever you're calling it, in this game? Like, are you serious, NetherRealm? Like, people, I'm pretty sure the outcry for some of them was so much higher after MKX. Not to mention, MKX, you gave us, like, 3 characters from that era in launch. I mean, okay, yes, it was Quan Chi and Kenshi who are, like, the most reoccurring of those characters for whatever reason. And then Shinnok, who I guess was the main villain, but, like, why? What do you have against these characters? Like, and with how great Frost came out, like, I don't... Oh, it is one of the most frustrating parts of the goddamn roster for me. Like, what the hell? What were they thinking? That's basically it if I'm just kind of delving into sort of, each part of the roster and, I'll just talk about what I think of it as a whole.